welcome to another Sanctuary Sunday. Sanctuary! Today, I'm going to play Charioteer, Race for Glory in Ancient Rome. This is a game designed by Matt Calkins from Sekigahara fame, published by GMT, which was kind enough to send me this copy, so thank you. This is the setup here, so I'm going to back off here a little bit. There is Charioteer, and here is the setup for a two-player game. We have yellow and green. We have the horses, or the chariots there. Your deck of cards. This is basically a set collection game where you're going to be drawing cards from there each turn and trying to match symbols to move your chariots forward. We're on lap 1 there. You have the crowd cards. These cards you can use to match up with the cards in your hand that you play. You can play up to 3 cards out of your hand, and you can pick one of these to have a 4th card using the symbols there. That's the Emperor's die. That gives you a bonus as well. Here is the yellow player. And at the beginning of the game, sorry about that, they draw skill cards here. So you kind of have a random setup or a unique setup for each player. This player here is going to have a skill, higher skill in attack, then recovery, then sprint, and then cornering. Whereas the green player is cornering, recovery, attack, and sprint. Now, what do those things do? Well, as you play the game, as you play sets of like red, this will advance up on the track. As you play sets of orange or recovery, this will go up on the track, and then eventually you'll get to some bigger bonuses over here. I'm not going to go over all the details of the game, but basically the sets that you're trying to, the different sets do different things. For example, red does attack, and so when you match up those attacks, you're going to attack the other charioteers or the other chariots. You don't have to be adjacent or anything like that. It's just you're going to do an attack, and then you will distribute damage tokens on the player's track here. This is damage here, and then extra damage over here as well. The yellow is recovery, so that's going to remove damage or try to reduce damage that's done during attack. Green is sprint, and that's probably the main one you're going to use because that moves you around the track. And then black is cornering, and cornering is important when you get to, imagine that, corners. Normally you have to, when you advance here, you would have to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you're playing cornering cards here, then you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you would end up here as opposed to here. So the cornering allows you to ignore these corner boxes, and you can kind of go more on the inside of the track. So that's in a nutshell, kind of the basics of the game is you're going to be drawing cards here. You start off with a hand of 8, and then you pick up to 3 from your hand, but all the symbols have to match of that symbol type. Whether it's a 1 red or a 2 yellow, orange, or a 2 green, or whatever. All the symbols have to match, and then you can pick one of the crowd cards. So it's for a 4th card, and then you play your cards, and you keep rinsing, repeating until you do 3 laps there. Anyway, so what I'll do is, this is the setup. I'm probably going to grab somebody, play this game. I don't know if I'm going to do stuff in between the game or if I'm just going to do like an after-action report and talk a little bit about my thoughts on gameplay. But that's what I have for right now. See you shortly. All right, back faster than I thought because I just finished the first turn, or we finished the first turn, and I thought I would catch up on that and on a couple of things I missed at the beginning here. I didn't talk about this fan bag. This is the fan bag that if you get a fan token out of there that you can use during the game, they give you modifiers for different abilities. If you match 6 or more symbols, including symbols that are on the crowd cards, then you get a fan token. You also have these one-time use token. Everybody starts off with 5 of these, and you can use these during the game to modify your actions. And also the fan card or the crowd card, the only one you can use is this one in the first slot here. And so nobody used this, so for the next turn, this will go away. These will slide down, so this will be the next active one, and we'll draw a new one from there. For this turn, yellow's in the lead because they played these 2 cards. You can play up to 3 and then match one with the crowd card. But so it's a 6, and then there's 4 symbols, so it turns out to be 10. So they move 10 spaces. The green played this one, which is 2 6s. So 6 plus 2 is 8, and so they moved up 8. So these will be discarded. They'll draw back up to 8, and this will get moved away, and then we'll re-roll the Emperor dice. The Emperor dice, what happens to that is if you match the symbol, like everybody used sprint here, so the red, they didn't match the red. But if you matched the symbol, then you get to go up on the skill track. So this will be re-rolled, and then if you whatever players play next turn, they'll be able to match that. As far as skill, since both of them did green, this goes up 1 on the green track, and this goes up 1 on the green track as well. I'll be back. Back again. We are now on lap 2, and yellow is extending its lead on green and developing some of its bonuses here, whereas green has really developed the cornering bonus. And while I'm at it, let's explain a little bit how these things work. So, cornering are going to be lesser number cards. The greens or the sprints are going to be higher. And so you're probably going to play the green cards more or the red cards possibly more because, that's going to be the base. So the number in the symbol, like 3, would be your base. And if you played this card here, you have 2 symbols, matching symbols. So you'd have 3 plus 2 is 5. If you played this for cornering, you're going to have 1 is the base, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as your addition to that. So it would be 6. So you move 6, and of course you need to use cornering on the corners because it keeps you on the inside and don't have to go on the outside. So basically, all the different numbers or the different symbols is basically your movement, whether it's red or green or yellow or black. That's going to be your base movement, and then the number of matching symbols that you have is going to be the additive to that. And then depending on what symbol it is, like if it's the cornering, then that's going to help you out in corners. If it's red, then you do an attack and you get to assign some damage to all the other charioteers. If it's yellow, then you're able to take some of that damage away. And if it's green, then it's just a sprint, right? You're just trying to bust out down the track. So now on to continuing with lap 2, which is almost over, and then we'll get into the third and final lap. Well, that is all she wrote. Yellow was able to win, and it was more than a nose. Green can never really quite catch up with yellow. Yellow got a pretty good lead in the first and second lap and just extended it on. So what we have here is kind of where it advanced on its skill set and used up all its one-time use tokens. Green didn't end up not using this one, but I don't know if that would have helped too much. Maybe it would have gotten in one of the corners there. But there you have it. That is Charioteer. My thoughts on this: this is a fine game. This is a racing game. It's set collection game. It feels a little bit like some of the elements of like what you would have a Ticket to Ride and collecting colors and sets of symbols. It's unique how you use those symbols. The fact that you have 4 different symbols, the sprint, attack, recovery, and corner, they all play out really nicely. The attacks in this game didn't come up as much. There were attacks, but to make those really effective, it's kind of hard. You need to try to get a 4-card attack to get a lot more tokens, or damage tokens here. Then they translate over here, and then they slow you down. Green got damaged and took a while to recover before it could get rid of that, and that slowed them down, and that added to their loss as well. But overall, game plays really fast. Once you get the basic concept of the math of the base amount plus the symbol editor, it's really not that hard. And then there is some iconography, figuring out what some of the things do. Here, like, the shield protects you from damage. The discard lets you get rid of cards because you kind of get your hand clogged up and without much to use, so you need to use those discards. You get, the symbols, for cornering, attack, and the like. I would say the sprint and the corner were probably the most used. Attack was not used as much. I mean, it was used for the movement, but not putting together enough cards to do any significant damage. And since there wasn't a lot of damage, the recovery really didn't come in. I mean, you would still use it if you had a number of those cards in your hand to do a good movement, but the special ability didn't come in as much. Anyway, there you have it. That is Charioteer. If you're interested in this, check it out from GMT. I like it. I like to play a 6-player game of this and see how it holds up. I think it would play relatively fast and furious, and you might have a little bit more damage and some other things going on here to make it interesting. That's what I have for y'all today on Sanctuary Sunday. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for taking some refuge with me. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.